listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Listen up and get tapped into local important resources, information, and topics. Learn more about the topics of today's show at buncombecounty.org. Okay, it's time to get tapped in.
Well, hello. And if you hear my voice, you know it's time to get tapped in. I'm one of your hosts, ZaKiya Bell Rogers.
And I'm Leonard Jones.
Leonard and I come to you from the Buncombe County Communications and Public Engagement Team. We're real heroes, wear capes.
Joining us today is the Executive Director of the YWCA and also another staff worker with YWCA, Cat Slater, and as well as Diana Sierra. I don't know if I said their names first time. I apologize about that. But we're having a conversation today about one of our community partners. We know that YWCA is one of our partners with a lot of our community engagement markets. So Alicia Summy over there does a lot of great work in connection with that. And we're just here to talk about what's happening with YWCA, one of these institutional resources that we have in our community. Welcome, Diana and Kat.
Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We've been looking forward to being with you all today. And as Leonard said, my name is Diana Sierra. My pronouns are she, her, aya, and I have been serving as the CEO of the YWCA since November of 2020. So a little more than 3.5 years. And I'm here with Kat.
Hey, this is Cat Slater. I'm part of the advancement team at the YWCA, and I've been here, since about the same time, a little bit before Diana, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you all for having us.
Oh, we love having you here. So, my favorite part about the YWCA, can you tell us a little about the history and the mission of the YWCA of Asheville?
Absolutely. So the YWCA of Asheville, we have been serving the Asheville community since 1907, which is 117 years.
Yes.
Our mission is to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. We do that in a variety of ways, but all of our programs promote health, nurture children, empower women, and advance racial justice.
Mm-hmm. So you told us the mission. Tell us some like the history that you like to tell people about the Y.
Absolutely. So we're really proud of our history. I'm very humbled to be serving in the role and being a part of such a historic organization. In Asheville, there used to be a white YW and a black YW. And so, those organizations were working in tandem to support the community. And eventually, Eleanor Roosevelt wanted to come and speak to an integrated audience. And the YWCA of Asheville was the only association or organization in all of Asheville that would be willing to host an integrated audience during a period of time where there was just really entrenched, segregation and discrimination happening in our community and in our country. And so that legacy just goes before us, and we always when we talk about our history, we talk about that because the YW's been a leader in our community and really centering equity and inclusion and affirming of all folks that want to be in community and space with us.
Yeah.
So with that incredible history that we just heard since 1907, what are some of the resources that the YWCA offers community?
Absolutely. So we have a variety of programs. Some of our programs center around childcare. So we actually have two very special childcare programs. One is our early learning program, which is a full-time childcare center. We serve about a little more than 100 children through that program currently. And then we have the only program of its kind in Western North Carolina, which is a drop-in childcare, where essentially we offer free and sliding scale part-time childcare for folks who are getting on their feet, trying to go back to school, maybe fleeing intimate partner violence situations, and seeking other services. They can bring their kids to a safe and nurturing environment while they advance themselves economically. We also have women's empowerment programming, financial literacy programming specifically for women and women of color. We have a robust racial justice programming where we offer free monthly racial justice workshops. It's a free 3-part series that we offer to the community and other organizations who want to come and be in rich dialogue with us. And we also have our health and wellness programming. So we, as you all know, we have our fitness center and our aquatics program. And then a little over a year ago, we acquired a program called Light a Path, which offers yoga and mindful movement classes to spaces and communities that otherwise wouldn't have access. So for example, we are in the Women's Correctional Facility, we're in the Buncombe County Jail, and we're serving at some other recovery spaces too.
Can I just for our listeners here, where actually is the YWCA located here?
Great question. We are at, we're right off of South French Broad, right beside Asheville Middle School, so 185 South French Broad. We're between the Housing Authority and Asheville Middle School. You can't miss us.
Now, that's not the original. Is that the original building for the YWCA?
It's the original building that integrated. There was a white YW that is now, it was on Grove Street, which is where Scandals is.
Oh, wow. Okay, fine times.
In Club 11.
Yeah, there you go.
And so the 185, how old is that, the old part of that building?
The old part of that building goes back to, I think, the 50s.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. Like, and that building is almost 80 years old?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a historic building when you really think about everything that's happened within those four walls.
Oh, yeah.
And it's expanded. We did a capital campaign about 25 years ago. But yeah, so much history.
Oh, yeah. So we heard, you all do so much for the community, and there are so many programs that are free to the community. But we just recently heard that the YWCA is facing a deficit. Can you elaborate on the factors contributing to this financial challenge?
Absolutely. So like a lot of nonprofits in our community, we've been navigating a challenging time the past 2 years, specifically with a variety of factors that have impacted our financial position. So with COVID-related funds drying up, with inflation, everything in terms of the cost of doing business has gone up.
Yes.
For example, our food costs have gone up 40% when we look at, from 2 years ago, to wanting to keep up, with
a living wage and things of that nature.
Absolutely. So just keeping up with inflation and cost of living and all those pieces. But also, we've had some challenges. What I inherited was an older building, and while we're really proud of our rich history and everything that's happened in our building, there's a lot of deferred maintenance. And again, like most nonprofits and churches also might experience this challenge too. It's really challenging to be able to raise the funds to keep your building, up to par and repaired and maintained. So that's been a challenge as well. We've also seen some funding shifts, with the fear of a recession over the past couple of years. We've seen individual giving shift and folks engage with their philanthropy in a different way. And we've seen funders also shift their priorities. While there was a lot of public support and pledging to support racial justice work, we've also seen that, the dollars aren't always there. And so, just navigating that.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the specific steps that YWCA is taking to address these deficit and ensure the sustainability of its programs?
That's a great question. So, first and foremost, we've tightened our belts. When you look at our budget and our financials, we've reduced our expenses significantly over the past 2 years. What I inherited was a $4.5 million operating budget, and we've cut back our expenses to be 3.8 currently, and that's without impacting our programs. So we're doing more with less. We've streamlined certain roles. We've consolidated certain roles so that there's not redundancy. We've even looked at our printing costs. I mean, every single penny we spend, we're looking at really critically. And then, in terms of sustainability and looking to our future, we're really looking forward to continuing to diversify the revenue we bring in. So building new relationships with new funders, looking for what they call, earned income. So our health and wellness programming has a membership that folks can pay for that helps, ideally offset the costs of running some of our programs. So really kind of building up those lines. And then really doubling down on investing into our building. Our building is a very special place, and so we want to do some strategic fundraising to repair our pool and some other, repairs that are needed throughout the building.
Yeah, and I know you all have been having such a hard time, and one of the things you all are going to have to do is to close the historic pool for repairs and things of that nature. Can you share more about those critical maintenances and needs and the prompt to this closure?
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's been a tough announcement to make that we are temporarily closing our pool. That goes into effect on Friday, June 28th, so at the end of this month. Essentially, we have a pool ceiling that is a concrete ceiling system that needs repair. It has been impacted due to years of, again, deferred maintenance and having one of the warmest pools in town. That humidity also impacts our ceiling.
Yes.
And so we've been able to kind of hobble along, but we're at a place now because we really value getting that fixed and repaired and the safety of the pool area that we're closing it, and we are hoping to raise funds to repair it. The first step is for us to engage a structural engineer who's going to get in there and actually assess the condition of the ceiling and make recommendations in terms of how to repair it. We won't really know how much repair is needed until we get that structural engineer's assessment. We are engaging an engineer. We're waiting for final kind of quote on what that will cost, but we're anticipating that assessment alone will be between $25,000 and $30,000.
The assessment.
The assessment. Yes, ma'am.
Do you get a discount for this?
Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna pan out, but it never hurts to ask, as my mother always says. So, and the person that we've been engaging so far, we've engaged several engineers, but I think the folks we're going to be working with actually learned how to swim at our pool. So it just speaks to the full circle nature of so many people have been touched by our aquatics program. And
I learned how to swim at that pool
Really?
back in the late 80s in
Wow.
elementary school. We took a trip over there to learn how to swim.
Wow, I didn't realize that. It's so cool. That's awesome. So yeah, just yet another example of just the reach this pool and this aquatics program has.
Yeah. And so how long do you all think it's going to be closed? What is your goal to having it reopen?
Yes, acknowledging that we won't know more until we get that assessment. Our goal, best case scenario, we would like to be reopened by early 2025.
Yeah.
We'd like to be open going into the winter months, again, having one of the warmest pools in town. Folks like to be in our pool, especially in the cold months of winter. And so being able to get that reopened, starting the new year right, and with a new aquatics program, and just having everything updated, because in this time we want to repair the ceiling, but we also need to resurface the pool. That's something that's done every 10 years, and while the pool is drained, let's go ahead and do it. It's due in a year anyway. And then we're also going to deal with updating our pool drain so that it's up to code. Having a historic pool, an older pool, there's some pieces with our pool drain that we want to update so we're not having to deal with it further down the road.
Because your diving board is also a specialized board, right? Somebody was saying it's hard to replace, or you can't replace those, or something to that nature.
Yeah, that's the challenge of having a historic building. They don't even make certain parts for certain parts of replacement parts for some of the features in our building, and so it's just the challenges of that. But yes, our hope is to reopen in the new year. Also with a new aquatics program, our aquatics director, Kitty Schmidt, is retiring at the end of this month after 25 years of service at the YW. I like to say that I think Kitty must have taught at least half of Asheville how to swim. I mean, she's touched so many people's lives.
Well, she taught half this half hosting duo. She taught me how to swim at the tender age of 25.
That goes to show it's never too late to learn how to swim. So, yes.
Do the schools I think when I was at Asheville, I think the swim team, did they practice at the YW, or
Currently,
maybe in the past they did?
Currently they do not, but we are hoping once we refresh our pool and get everything up, up to date, to re-engage those relationships.
Yes.
Or even, exploring ideas about starting our own swim team, for younger swimmers. We already have a really strong swim equity programming, which basically allows for free and or heavily reduced scholarships, so that anybody who wants to learn how to swim, whether they're 0 or 100, they can have an opportunity to learn how to swim in our pool. And so we really want to build on that foundation and think about what our future can look like from the aquatics program.
Oh yeah.
So my next question was, how can community members get involved and support the YWCA during this challenging time?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So, of course, folks can give. They can give on our website. If you go to YWCAofAsheville.org, there's a donate tab. Folks can contribute there. But other things, in-kind donations go a long way to offset the expenses for some of our programs. Volunteering also really helps. That's a budget reliever for us to support our programs and the community that we serve. And then also connections. If you know somebody that might be invested in our mission and in our programs that doesn't know us, and you want to have them get to know us, connect with us. They can come to an Empower Hour tour, which we do on Tuesdays, which actually allows folks to do a walking tour of our building and learn more about our programs and our impact. So there's just so many different ways to key in. I think part of the challenge is that we've been here for so long, and people either know us and love us. I hear all the time that they've never heard who we are, or they think we're the YMCA. And so really differentiating who we are and making sure folks are clear on who we are and what we are and what we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we talked about how community members can get involved, but looking ahead, what is your vision for the YWCA folks once these financial and operational challenges are overcome?
Great question. So yes, we're at a critical place right now in our trajectory. My goal is to stabilize the organization financially, and once we do that, my vision is to get everybody up to a living wage in terms of salary and compensation. Also, I would love to establish an endowment where we can put away funds to keep up with the repair of the building. So we're not caught in this position in the future, right? Where our future selves can look back at the decisions that we've made and know that we set our future selves up for success.
Yes.
And then continuing to strengthen our relationships. I know with community and with organizations, really looking at how we can be collaborative, how we can share our resources with other smaller organizations and community groups. We have a rich history of showing up that way, and as we navigate these challenges, I look forward to really returning back to that history.
Yeah.
So what are some long-term goals the YWCA has for its facilities and programs to better serve the Asheville community in Buncombe County?
Great question. So we are we're in the middle of our strategic plan, and I'm really excited to try to get that to the finish line, despite all the things that we're navigating as an organization, because I think that'll really ground us in terms of our long-term goals and our future. But something that keeps on bubbling up, and something that I hear in all different kinds of spaces and places, is the YW has historically been this community hub where folks, from every walk of life and from every age feel welcomed and engaged. And I hear often that, we used to have an after-school program and a space where there were more youth. We have plenty of children, 0 to 6, through our child cares in our program, but really creating more of a space for youth and again, leveraging our facility and our campus and sharing that with other organizations. We have Asheville Middle School right next door. We have partnerships with other youth-serving organizations, and so really getting more strategic on that and how we really get back to that hub. In terms of our facilities too, there are lots of other repairs needed outside of the pool area, and so getting all of those pieces addressed in a way that honors the historic aspect of the building, and making sure that it's here in another 117 years.
Oh yeah, 117 years, and you all own that building as well.
Correct.
Okay, and so that is a great thing as well. And can you tell us about some of the departments that you have in there? Because a lot of people, I know I had my baby shower at the YWCA. So you talk about those spaces that people can rent so that they know the YWCA does not just do childcare in pools. So.
Absolutely, yeah. We have our multi-purpose room, which has capacity for about 100 people, that can be rented out. We also host lots of community events in there. We've had talks about reparations and collaborative events with the Racial Justice Coalition and others in there. But that can be rented to for families if they want to have a baby shower or birthday party. Once our pool is reopened, families can actually rent out our pool for a pool party.
Oh, wow.
And so that's something that we offer. We have a boardroom as well that's available for rent, so that if there are groups or organizations that need to have a meeting and want to be in a space maybe outside of their own, or they don't have their own kind of brick and mortar space, that can accommodate about 20 people comfortably. And then we also have a small space off of our gym, which is like a wellness space where folks who might be like chiropractors or massage therapists or in the wellness space can rent out that room and meet privately with their clients as well.
And that's really neat. And another thing I wanted to bring up is that, we talked about food costs and all those things. We're going to, because I just want everybody to know what actually goes on in the YW. You have a marvelous cooking staff, and they prepare the meals for all the kids.
Yes.
So we're talking about these meals are prepared with loving hands who are trained in nutrition and all of those great things to make sure that the kids are receiving quality meals. And so can you tell us a little bit about that staff as well?
Absolutely. So between our two childcares, we have 125 children in our building every day. And so we feed our children that are in our programs breakfast, lunch, and snack every day. And the reason why that's so impactful is that that's about 90% of a child's nutrition in their day. And when you add on the fact that nearly half of the children in our child care program are receive some sort of child care subsidy, might qualify for free or reduced lunch, that nutrition is really important. And so we really value exposing children to healthy and nutritious foods, to exposing them to new fruits and vegetables. And our small but mighty nutrition team makes all of those meals complete with making homemade baby foods and all the things. So we serve that food during the same food that the children eat, we serve in our Empower Hour tours, and it's delicious and it's healthy and it's fresh. We actually have some partnerships with some local churches who give some of their harvest from their community gardens to the YW, and we also use that helps offset costs for us as well, and allows us to literally have freshly picked vegetables that were picked just several days ago being served to our children in our community.
That is just awesome. So it is time for us to start winding up, and even though Kat hasn't said anything, is there anything you would like to add and allow each person to add something that they want the audience to know that's important?
What about hours of operation?
Oh yeah, what are your hours of operation?
What are our hours of operation? I think we open early around 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:30, and then we're open till about 8 o'clock in the evening, especially for our health and wellness. What do I want folks to know? Empower Hour is a lot of fun, y'all. It is so much fun. I know it sounds like, I'm gonna go do this tour and it's boring, but it's like it's a moment to invite your friends. You hang out, you have a meal, you walk through the building, you see cute kids, you see people having fun doing their work, and you get to just experience what the different programs are. Because like Diana mentioned earlier, we are often mistaken with the YM, or people haven't heard about us, but what we do is so unique and different to what those organizations do. And so walking through, getting a first-hand of, you know, what our women's empowerment programming looks like, of what our empowerment childcare looks like, of what our health and wellness looks like. It's just a whole different experience than what you would assume it would be. So it's a fun time. Y'all should come, get a free meal out of it, right? That's what I would add.
Yes, those meals are delicious. And not just saying
They know how
I
to cook
attend power hours just to eat, but I've attended other events as well. Also, Diana, what was something that you would like to leave with our audience?
I'd like to acknowledge that while the YW is one of the few places, I hear this all the time, that the YW is one of the few places in Asheville that is truly integrated. Those comments make me sad because we know that the community that we live in today is the legacy of redlining, urban renewal, and institutional racism. And again, the YW has been serving our community for 117 years, and while we're super proud of the work that we've done, we have a lot more work to do, and we're excited to do that. We are honored and humbled to be working alongside other organizations and local, city and county government to continue to move the needle when we talk about gender equality and racial equality. And so part of when we talk about the pool, when we talk about the repair, we talk about the finances, us being able to address that allows us to then do this really important work.
Leonard, you have anything you want to add?
Well, I'd just like to add that, as Diana has said, as well as Kat in this interview, this YWCA has been around for 117 years, and just one of them anchor kind of resources that's in our community. It's located at 185 South French Broad. We heard hours of operations were kind of around 6 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. in the evening, and we done heard about empowerment programs for women, childcare, fitness, health and wellness, and a swimming pool. So we just really want to support and let the community know that resources are out there. So we all need to support, and especially some of our institutional organizations and programs that we had in the community. So when you thinking of ways to support your community, think of the YWCA. 117 years, really been working on some of those difficult conversations around race and gender and various things in our community. So when you think about where your monies can go to, think of the YWCA. And with that, I'll pass it on. I know, as I mentioned before, I'm a native of the area, learned how to swim there as well. Often they have family reunions in that multi-purpose room as well. So it is a resource for community and very much connected to the community. So go out and support YWCA, and we appreciate them. Again, as I mentioned, they are partnering with us at Buncombe County along with our community engagement market. So they are really tapped into trying to serve our community in the best way possible.
All right, Professor Jones. He's trying to take my job. Well, as we know, the YWC is rated E for everybody. And we absolutely love the YWC. It has such a rich history. I would challenge you all to just sign up to go and there is a wall. Is it the legacy wall?
Yes.
It is the legacy wall, and you can read the history of the YWCA in Asheville. It is so rich. It is so phenomenal, and it is inspiring. So often, we say, "Oh, that was the past," but we're not just holding on to the past. We're actually taking pieces from that past and continuing to push it to the future, because those choices that were made took strength, it took courage, and it took the will for somebody not to like you, because that sometimes happens. So being on the right side of history does not always make you the community favorite, and the YWCA has always done its best to be on the right side of history. With that being said, if you have a family reunion, or you need to plan your family reunion, and you don't want nobody at your house because you don't want people dirtying up their glasses or touching your stuff, there are so many rooms that you can rent out at the YWCA. If you are like, you know what, I gotta get rid of this COVID weight that you got from 2020 and it's 2024. The YWCA has a program for you. Come on down and jump on one of those bikes and ride until your heart just, well, don't pop, but just ride until your heart smiles. If you want to learn more about the YWCA, you can always go online or you can pop in and they'll give you a talk or two. Like I always say, give back to where much was given to you. The YWCA has given so much to Asheville Buncombe area, and it is time for us to take care of our elder. So with that being said, from me to you, you've been tapped in.
Thank you for listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower, here on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Learn more about today's topics at buncombecounty.org. Otherwise, stay tuned for more great episodes coming up.